What's up, y'all? DJ Olojo. I'm here with one of the original credit brothers. They have an awesome service, and we're just spending a little bit of time with them talking about what they do, how they can help you, and how to rebuild your credit after foreclosure. So do me a favor, let our listeners know what you do and how you help people with their credit.
Yeah, so we do it through a number of ways. We obviously create content. We post it completely for free on social media, TikTok, Instagram. You can find us all over the place. As far as what we offer, you can join our community. Thriving community filled with hundreds, thousands of people that ultimately are trying to work to build and improve their credit through a variety of ways. Course material, some services that we offer as well. So we help small business owners get access to funding. We can help fix people's credit as well, get rid of negative things like foreclosures, bankruptcies, all these bad things on people's reports. So it's kind of a combination between our community as well as some services as well for those that just need that extra little bit of help. So with respect to the situations that you deal with your clients, would you say that most of them are dealing with bad credit?
Unfortunately, many people do have bad credit, and it's a result of not paying their mortgage on time, maybe life events, life situations happen to them, sickness, bad things. At the end of the day, they just find themselves in a hard spot. So for those people who find themselves maybe with bad credit, and maybe they have a foreclosure, or maybe they are facing foreclosure, but they really want to get their credit to a place where they can move forward, what do you recommend they do?
So number one, you always have to be aware of what is your current financial state. Are you behind on your credit card payments and on your mortgage right now? If that's the case, do not worry about your credit. You need to worry about getting your income straight first, getting yourself back up on your feet and making on-time payments. Whether that takes 6 months, whether that takes 6 years, however long it takes, focus on that first. So once you're past that point where you've recovered from whatever thing happened that put you in that position to begin with, now you can start to focus on your credit, right? Because now you have the ability to create on-time payment history. Because if you just open a credit account when you're not making any money, then all you're going to do is make your situation worse.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's just say you're already past that first phase. Now you're like, okay, how can I actually start rebuilding my credit? So number one, you can wait 7 years and have things naturally fix themselves. Seriously, you can literally do nothing except for wait 7 years from the initial point that things started to go bad, and boom, in 7 years your situation is going to be fixed. But if you're like, well, 7 years, that's a long time, I don't want to wait that long, what can I do? You can try and actually dispute this information on your credit report. So you can basically use a variety of methods through the FCRA, the FDCPA, all these rules and regulations that govern what should be on a credit report, what validates a thing that's on your report, right? These credit bureaus are businesses, right? And how they make money is by having things on your credit report. So if you have negative stuff like a foreclosure or a collection account or a missed payment on a credit card, right? That's all data. And they want that data to be on your report because that's how they make money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can dispute this information with the credit bureaus and ultimately challenge why they think they can have that information on your report. And there's all sorts of rules and regulations that they need to follow specifically to validate that the account should be on the report. So you can actually go through this process of repair. It's very complex. It matters situation to situation. So specifically with foreclosures, that's a very complex account to dispute. That's a lot different than just a collection account or something like that. So what I also recommend, whether you're going to try credit repair, right, or you want to just try to rebuild your credit, is think about it. You can either have good things or bad things on your report. So if you've got bad things and you've only got bad things, then how can you start to get good things on there?
Yeah.
You want to be very particular with the type of products that you try to go after. You're not going to get approved for an Amex Platinum card if you have a 400 credit score.
Why not?
It's just not going to happen because that type of credit product is not designed for people that are rebuilding. That is designed for a high net worth person that's spending a lot of money that has good credit. Yeah. So then what are the products that are designed for somebody that are trying to rebuild, right? Number one, I recommend secured credit cards. These are going to be types of credit cards that you put down a security deposit in order to open up the credit card. Traditionally, if I applied for a credit card and I got approved for a $10,000 credit limit, I just get this piece of plastic that says, hey, you can spend $10,000. But when you're rebuilding, you're not going to get something like that. Instead, the company will go, hey, give us $500, literally give us $500 in cash. We're going to secure it in an account that you can't touch. And in exchange, we're going to give you a credit card with a $500 limit. So then that way, because your payment history and your situation says, hey, when I borrow money, I don't pay it back, Because think about it, that's really what your credit report is saying to the banks. They need a way that they can trust you. So how can they trust you? Well, they take money equal to the limit that they give you, and that way, if you run away,
they're good.
And you don't pay them back, they've already got the money to pay off the debt. So you work initially by opening up secured credit cards, and what I recommend is the Discover It secured card. It's the number one card that we recommend. It's a reputable bank. You can have anywhere from a $500 up to a $2,500 limit.
Discover It card?
Yeah, the Discover It secured card is the number one card that I recommend because there are so many banks that offer secured cards, and most of them suck.
Gotcha.
Most of them suck. For example, Capital One. They offer a secured card, one of the worst ones to get, even though you might be thinking, wait, Capital One, like that's
They're
a good
everywhere,
bank.
yeah.
But what they do is they basically take your money and they never give it back. They'll secure the card and they'll keep that security deposit for a year, 2 years. Sometimes they just literally never give you it back until you close the accounts. But the point of opening the account in the first place is to create these positive payment instances over a long period of time. So you don't want to have the account be closed. Whereas a company like Discover, they'll give you the money back after 6 months. And then it turns into a legit credit card at that point, because now it becomes unsecured, which is the traditional way we think about credit cards.
Got it.
Another one, and this is going to be specific to those that qualify, Navy Federal Credit Union. If you have family affiliation with the military, this can be a grandparent, in World War II. This can be your dad who, just went overseas or something. They don't even need to go overseas. It's just they need to be a part of the National Guard or the military in some way, and you qualify to become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union. They offer a secured card. It's another great card. And they also offer the second type of credit account that I recommend people get into, which is an installment account. Right? You have two types of accounts that you can have on your report. It can be a revolving account, which is basically a credit card, or it can be an installment account, so a loan. Now, you might go, well, I don't need to get an auto loan right now. I'm not trying to get a mortgage, right? So what can you do to actually create that type of credit history on your profile? You get credit building loans. These things exist, and you can get them through a variety of places. But Navy Federal has what's called a shared secured loan, and that is specifically designed for these situations. People that have bad credit history that are looking to rebuild. It's got a next to nothing interest rate, and the product is designed in a way to make it where even if you have poor credit history, you can get approved for it. And you can pay them back over 12 months, 24 months, however long you set it, to give you that additional credit history. Now, if you can't access Navy Federal, there's a few other credit unions that offer this type of product, like PenFed. PenFed's another great one. Or there's a company called Credit Strong that also offers to anybody, no affiliation needed, a credit building installment type of account. So if I was trying to rebuild my credit, I would go and get a single secured credit card. I'd go and get a credit building loan, and I'd hang on to those anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Don't go too crazy, because you're at a time right now where you don't have good credit, meaning you're not going to get approved for the best types of products. And you don't want to get too crazy opening up 5 or 10 bad credit accounts. You just want to get 1 or 2, 3 accounts on there that are creating some positive history and giving you the opportunity to start to showcase to the banks that, hey, I can pay my stuff on time now. 3 years ago, I had some issues. But as of right now, hey, I've been good for 6 months. I've been good for 12 months. So you get a couple of these accounts, and then slowly you'll be able to get back into the regular mix of accounts that you actually want to get, like a Chase Sapphire card or an American Express Gold card, and like all these ones that you might be seeing influencers talk about, or you might be seeing commercials for, and you're like, well, I want that card. Well, those are the best types of cards out there. They can do a lot of awesome stuff, help you travel hack, get your next vacation for free.
Absolutely.
Right? But you have to earn the right to get access to those cards, because if you don't, how is a bank going to trust you? So you've got to start with step 1.
So how long should somebody expect it to take for their credit to rebuild? So I jacked up my credit. Maybe I went through foreclosure, or maybe I nearly avoided foreclosure, but my credit's at 500, 550.
Yeah.
Maybe 615, like I guessed earlier, right?
Sure.
And I'm trying to get an 800 credit score. I want Amex Platinum. I want the best of the best. I want the best mortgage rate. How long should I expect it to take me?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So this is going to get a little nerdy. So the FICO algorithm, if you have a 30-day or a 60-day late payment, that is going to impact you. The most severe amount of impact it's going to have to your credit rating is going to be for 3 years. It's going to stay on your report for 7, but up until 3 years, it's going to have a really bad impact. After 3, it's going to start to lessen. Now, if you go past 60 and you're at a 90-day late, 120, like you said, maybe you were on the brink of foreclosure, you had a 150-day late payment. That is going to impact you for essentially the entire 7 years.
Gotcha.
Now, it does start to taper off at around year 5, right, with respect to its impact on your credit, but it's going to impact you for a long time.
Gotcha.
So if you have just a 30 and a 60-day late, after a few years, its impact is going to really lessen. If you're at a 550 and you're waiting to see how long it would take to get to an 800, well, it's going to depend. Are you trying to actively repair your credit? Because these situations that I've been talking about assume you don't get that information off earlier.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to dispute it with the credit bureaus and get it off of your credit report, well, now it doesn't impact you at all. We've helped clients go from a 500 all the way up to a 700 in just 6 months.
Awesome.
By working to get these things legitimately off their report. So it's whether or not you're working around it, meaning you're trying to build around the bad stuff, or if you're just getting rid of it and giving yourself a fresh foundation. Because it really only would take, if you had no credit history at all, 0, it would take you about 3 to maybe 4 years to get to an 800. It doesn't take nearly as long as you may think. And if you're somebody that already has a few credit accounts, you're sitting at that 700 mark, you could legitimately get to an 800 in 6 months, and a year, maybe even less, depending on why you're at your school. Okay.
No, that's awesome. Y'all, he only gave you not even 1% of the knowledge he drops on a regular basis. Do me a favor, let my listeners know where they can follow you, hear more of your free advice, and potentially even look at your membership to help them boost their credit.
Yeah, so if you've been loving this type of conversation, this is what my brother and I do every single week through our community called the Credit Club. It is an exclusive community where we get to have coaching calls, give you guys all of the sauce and the information that's in our heads delivered to you guys. And ultimately, if you want to follow us, check out our free content. You can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at The Credit Brothers. You're going to find us. You got myself, you got my brother who's not in this video, but ultimately I'm the better looking one anyway, so it doesn't matter. And ultimately what we want to do is help you understand how to master that 3-digit number that unfortunately controls your life, but we want to put the control back in your hands and out of the banks.
Hey y'all, I'm with the Credit Brothers. I'm just the brother, and I'm happy I met him today. Y'all check him out. Great information for you. Get your credit right. It's so important when you're facing foreclosure and just for the rest of your life. The views and opinions on this podcast are for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. If you have a specific legal question, we highly recommend you contact a qualified legal professional.